If we told you that you could prepare breakfast for an entire household in just minutes using one sheet pan, would you believe us? You will after watching Chef Jill Garcia Schmidt demonstrate this amazing breakfast hack.
My kitchen. Today I'm going to teach you how to feed a crowd for breakfast. We're going to start by making sheet pan eggs. It's so easy, anyone could do it. We're going to start with a nice clean sheet pan. That's very important when making eggs. We're going to spray it really, really well so that the eggs come all the way out and don't stay in the pan. That's great. Then I've got 12 eggs that are already beaten along with a half a cup of whole milk. If you're not a milk drinker, you can use almond milk or anything else that you like, or even water, but you do need to thin it out just a little bit. Look how nicely those eggs are spreading out all over the pan. Once you've got your eggs in there, then you absolutely have to season it. A little bit of salt. Don't go overboard because I'm going to add some bacon. And then we're going to add some black pepper. Half of this I'm going to leave plain for all the kiddies that aren't into all the good stuff that us adults are. The other side, though, I'm going to load up with some shredded cheese, as well as everybody's favorite, bacon. Feel free to use as little or as much as you want. And then some sausage. I like to get the pre-cooked sausage or cook it myself beforehand to make sure that it doesn't get really greasy inside the eggs as the eggs cook in the oven. All right, this is perfect. That took like what, 5 seconds? And it's all ready for the oven. Let's get her in there. 425 for 15 minutes. Look how beautiful these eggs came out. Nice and browned, and you can see they're super easy to get out. I'm just gonna run my spatula across the edges. They're so light and fluffy. And at this point, you have a couple of options. You can pop the whole thing out, or you can cut it straight in the pan. And then the most amazing thing is you can either feed everyone now, or once you have it all cut into your portions, you can actually put it into a freezer bag and freeze it for up to 3 months. Pop one out, 30 seconds in the microwave, and you're ready for breakfast on the go.
Now that's simple. And if you thought that was great, just wait until you see what else Jill has in store for us. Hint, it involves pancakes and hash browns. So you need to feed the masses, but you have very little time. We have a pro tip that can satisfy you and even the pickiest pancake eaters out there. For that, we head to Jill's kitchen.
Welcome back. This round, we are going to talk about sheet pan pancakes. They are the answer to everyone's special orders every morning. All you got to do is throw your pancake mix together. And I find that if you let it sit out for at least 10 minutes and bubble up a little bit, they are so much lighter and they don't leave you with that heavy feeling in your stomach afterwards. So we've got our pancake mix ready to go. I have a sheet pan, which is our tool of the trade right now, that is lined with parchment and then sprayed with this fantastic butter-flavored spray, because everything's better with butter. We're going to take our pancake mix and just spread it out. See how nice and airy that is? That's going to produce a really nice height on these pancakes. You can use a box mix or make your own, whatever you prefer. We're just going to spread this out from corner to corner. You want to make sure it reaches all the way. It'll look thin now, but don't you worry. It'll puff up just like it does on the griddle. So for this one, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. On half of it, I'm going to add some freshly cut bananas. Who doesn't love a good banana pancake, right? And then, because it's my kitchen, we're going to add chocolate as well. So some little mini chocolate chips going on there as well. And then for my half, I have this fantastic brown sugar maple syrup glaze that I made, and I stuck it in an empty squeeze bottle. An empty ketchup bottle works just as well. And we're just gonna squeeze it out and let it do its thing all over the place. And not only is it pretty, but it's gonna give a great maple brown sugar flavor into every bite. And then I have some fun cinnamon chips. We're gonna throw those in there too. If you like apples, you could do apples. If you like berries, you could do berries with cream cheese. You could do a savory one with some ham and some cheese in there if you wanted to. Or everybody's favorite, throw some bacon back in there, right? That's all you've got to do, guys. This is ready for the oven. We're gonna pop it in at 425 for 15 minutes. Look how spectacularly these pancakes turned out. They're light, they're fluffy, and everybody can get the serving that they want. No corners for my husband on this one. And you can top them with some real maple syrup, whipped cream, blueberries, whatever you've got in your kitchen that you know you're into. I've got one here that's all ready to go, topped with more bananas and chocolate chips and maple syrup. Super simple, 15 minutes in the oven, and you can feed a ton of people. Or, like I told you before, freeze them for up to 3 months in a freezer baggie. Ready to go for breakfast.
Mind blown. How did we not think of this before? That's why Jill is amazing. Thank you, Jill. So who's hungry for pancakes now? Yes, please. In our next half hour, Jill is making hash browns. Oh, we're all gonna be so hungry after this. Hash browns, heck yeah. And for this next recipe, chef and baker Jill Garcia Schmidt shows us an easy way to make them and serve them to the masses. No muss, no fuss.
Hey everybody, are you ready for the last way to feed a crowd with a sheet pan breakfast? Now we're hitting you with the hash browns. Couldn't be easier. I've already got my sheet pan lined with parchment paper, and then I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's really sprayed well so that all the potatoes pop right out. So once it's all coated with your spray, I want you to take your frozen hash brown potatoes, all right? They really work best if you use frozen because the fresh ones can get a little too watery and they won't crisp up as much as you'd like in the oven. So I've let these thaw out for just a little bit, about a half an hour or so. And then we're gonna take some melted butter and just pour that right over the top. And I'm just gonna use a spoon to mix it all together. This is gonna help with the browning, of course, on those potatoes. If you don't wanna use butter, you can certainly use any kind of oil, but butter is definitely a browning agent and will give you that color that you want. So once you've got that all incorporated, it's just as simple as dumping it on the sheet pan. Just like the pancakes and the eggs, we're gonna spread it out. And then the fun part, you can top it with whatever you want. Half of this we're gonna leave plain with just a little salt and pepper. Not everybody is adventurous, and that's just fine. We're gonna make sure everything is salted. Potatoes love salt, guys. And then some nice pepper action on there. Salt loves pepper, so why keep them apart? And then for my half, we're gonna do some onion. Feel free to use green onion, red onion, or whatever you like. Some freshly chopped garlic. Now, I love garlic, so we're gonna pile it on there. I've got about 3 cloves in there. And then finally, because it makes it pretty, we're gonna add a little bit of parsley. And that is going to make it just really fresh and gorgeous. So what, another about 10-second breakfast? All ready to go into the oven? I'd say aces on that. Let's get her in there 15 minutes at 425. Woo, look how good those turned out. They are crispy, they are golden, they look perfectly seasoned and perfectly cooked. Now a little tip, I did crank up the broiler for the last 5 minutes of cooking just to ensure that that golden color reached the top of those potatoes and got as crispy as I wanted them. So again, we're just gonna cut them into portions. Just run your knife very lightly against that. You don't wanna scrape up the bottom of your pan too much. And then pull off however much or little that you want. Look at those, guys. And you know, one of the things I can't stand about going to a greasy spoon diner and getting hash browns is they're so greasy, which does not lend to a healthy breakfast. But checking this out, guys, come on, are you kidding me? This whole thing took about 45 minutes from start to finish to make eggs, pancakes, and hash browns, and I could feed my camera guy, my husband in the back, and my neighbors all through the building.
That is so easy. That's incredible. And no, there were no leftovers.